Hello again, and welcome to the episode 4 of the Lumbertron Podcast. Today's guest is Kimo Cole, gym owner and personal trainer. We met at his gym, Anvil Fitness, in Linwood, Washington, for a talk about health, nutrition, and training, his path into it, the power of community, and little things people can do to optimize their health. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, please send them over to lumbertronic@gmail.com. I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get to it. I'm sitting here with Kimo Cole, owner of
Anvil Fitness
in Linwood, Washington. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I feel honored. It's really cool.
It's an honor to talk to you.
I'm super psyched. You know all the right people in town and stuff. It's very good.
It seems like this is a very fitness flush community. I didn't realize how blessed we are with
in Linwood. It's crazy. Like there's an MMA gym here. There's another circuit gym here. There's Jesse's gym across the street. There's another gym on the corner.
Yeah, Jekyll Strength.
Yeah, Jekyll
Strength.
Strength.
Just popped
That's
up.
another one, and that's just right in this small immediate area.
Yeah,
I have other friends that are personal trainers, really close to here, like Mill Creek, and and then there's all the Globo gyms, and then all the different PTs and stuff like that. A lot of cool stuff going on.
No shortage here. Yeah.
It's good.
But here we are at Anvil Fitness.
Yeah.
How long has this been here?
This has been here going on about 8 years as in this space. So backtracking real quick, history, the minor in exercise science with an emphasis on coaching, and then a soc-anthro degree, which helps me a lot.
Yeah? How's that serve you?
It helps me really to figure out what way to talk to what person. And if I find out just a couple different things about their background, what subculture they're into, what their headspace is, then it helps me to paint better analogies through that. So, you
can really relate and talk to them better.
Yeah, so talk to mechanic guy about motor and use motor and automotive stuff, or computer guy, or different kind of engineer guy, or all kinds of different stuff like that. And so it was interesting because most of the time, being young, you go to school and you hear most people don't use what they did, and I'm using both.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That's cool.
Score, I guess.
All right.
Good thing I flunked out of business school. Oh, wait, I'm a business owner. Damn it. So I did that, and then I was in the skate and snow specialty industry for about 12 years. Working at managing big shops like in Montana, California, and here. So at my root, I'm a skater. So for me, it's all about pool skating. I definitely fell in love with movement in college. I was able to ski race through my college, which was really cool. That was kind of funny. So it was the first year of their Alpine program, and I walked on like total Barney, total pedestrian skier. And that's where I met my wife, was the first week of school on the ski team. So you got all these guys that are real ski racers going to, global events, trying to get on the U.S. team. And then I show up, and I think they just felt sorry for me. And so they let me walk on because it was the first year of the program. So it's kind of like the mascot. And so I then ended up getting skills, and then got a scholarship and traveled. And then when my last year, a bunch of other real ski racers came, so I got bumped from the traveling team. So I was able to race just the local races. This is at an area called Red Lodge, Montana. And so I finished my last race, and I said I'm going to start snowboarding, and that was in '92. And so the school didn't take my season pass after my collegiate racing, so I just started snowboarding, and I haven't been on skis since. And so skateboarding and snow, haven't been back. Thought about it a couple times. Like, there's a lot more mobility on the hill. Also like to ride steep stuff. So when I was in Mammoth, California, working at a shop called Wave Rave, my friend Steve that owns it, he was able to get me into some heli access snowboarding competitions up in Valdez in the early 90s. So it was really Wild West out there then. There was
pioneer there.
Absolutely. There was no guides. Fly wherever you want. You just get dropped off, and they didn't care if you were coming back or not. Just like, whatever. If you have a radio, great, I can come pick you up. If you don't, And then we might find you in the spring. I don't know.
Well then, how do you win?
You know where you're going.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and so you get on a team with some good.
I did a rod of snowboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's pretty punk rock. Like you're waiting to die every turn, basically.
Sheesh.
And so we got put together with a guide from Bozeman named Jerry the first week, and he showed us around. And then we got some first descents on several different peaks, and it was just gnar. I could do the whole podcast talk about Psycho Alaska snowboarding. It's just ridiculous. So that's my main thing. So I do love movement, but really for me, movement is a means to an end. It's so I can try and maintain my lame bag of tricks as I get older. So I'll be 50 in June. And so I have a 17-year-old that snowboards, and then my 12-year-old snowboards, and my wife, she grew up ski racing and stuff. So it's all about getting on snow and training for snow. And so training to do my sports better. And I guess it's kind of a gift, so I ended up getting to help people kind of unravel their stuff.
Yeah.
So then with that, I started, I was a snowboard rep for a season, and that was brutal. Not riding, just talking on my cell phone, just kind of getting depressed, drinking beers to kill the pain, driving around all day and riding my cell phone and being a poser snowboarder, getting yelled at if I actually snowboarded. And so I quit and got into fitness. My wife, we had our second, and her trainer decided that I would be a good trainer for some reason. Had not even met me.
Like the cut of your jib, all right.
I guess. And she got me hired. So I started at 24-hour fitness and worked there for about 8 years. And then moved on to a physical therapy and rehab place, which is now down the street. It's called Experience Momentum.
Hey.
So that's a really good place. Those guys know their PT like nobody else.
That's cool.
They taught me a lot. And it was really cool to have a good relationship with them, refer PT clients over there to them. And then I decided to open my own brand. And so I started off with my friend Cody, who owns CrossFit Advantage up in Mukilteo. So he had just moved into an 8,000-foot warehouse and granted me access to sublet inside and run my business within his business. So I did that for a year or two and just decided I needed my own space, and got finally sacked up enough to do it after a lot of people had telling me for years, do your own game. Yeah. And so I did. So I found this, and here we are 8 years later, at Anvil Fitness.
Anvil was born.
Yeah. So just a community project, everybody coming together and adding their skills. So I had a guy that was carpenter, and so he did all my wood stuff, fabbed out gymnastics rings, all spec'd properly, made all my plyo boxes, my pegboard, and then another guy, Larry, helped me out by being able to do steel, so he engineered our pirated Rogue rack, assembled it in his shop in Marysville, and came down here and built it, and he hand built all my bars, and my weight sleds that you kind of push and pull around, and all kinds of different stuff like that.
Have you even got handmade sled?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's cool. So then, with I always kind of lean to core stability strength and kind of weird exercises when I was at 24-hour fitness. Usually you go to 24 and you see those guys working, and it's just kind of like the joke there is, the land of the new future ex-trainer. It looks cool.
Show up and hawk some supplements, maybe dabble in the free personal training session if you want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like it can be cool, but it's a grind. It's a hustle, so you never know where your paycheck's coming from. It's not stable. It's, it's difficult. And so a lot of those guys kind of burn out. But so I was able to kind of make it through that whole process and just kind of really get into movement. So I learned a lot of that physical therapy and rehab place. And so that's what really shaped my training. So the way that I train is mostly kind of post-PT rehab, prehab, fixing broken CrossFitters and broken athletes. So athletes are so amazing because they'll have the drive and determination. And so with that will, they'll just make stuff happen. So if the biomechanics aren't there, they'll overrun that up to a point, right? And then so your compensatory movement will stop you and bench you till you start paying attention. Till you're really busted. And so, trying to do, it's a blend of, depending on the client, but it's really a blend of PT and fitness, so there's all kinds of different goals. Most people coming in have kind of a weight loss goal, but I like to kind of really get away from that because people get really myopic on it, start getting weird. You can have all kinds of different things pop up, And so with obesity, there's a lot of times a lot of psych involved with it. And so one of the things I remember as being a new trainer at 24 is they said, whatever you do, you stay out of their Pandora's box. You don't go in their head, period. And I was like, well, that's counterintuitive because that's where it all lies, you know? So I can't just get them to wiggle around and expect something to get done. You know, you got to go there. And so a lot of times, like, it's a psych session. So it really depends on what I'm brought every day, because every day is different, you know? So my mean client training duration has been, you know, anywhere between 10 and 15 years. Same person sticking with me for a super long time, following me in all these different places, so you get to know a person. And so I'll have a mental template of what our goals are and what we're doing, but every time somebody shows up is, you know, to what degree do they show up, and then what is really going on. So is it going to be a corrective session?
Yeah.
Is it going to be everything working and we're just going to try and smash you as much as possible? Or is it just full on nurture?
Yeah.
You know? And so you just got to kind of really be able to pick up on where you need to take it with that person for that day, because everybody wants to try and be like, I'm ready to bash, and then when it comes down to it, you know, they're like crying.
Part trainer, part boxing coach, part therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so trying to be a good listener, you know, and be able to be outside of their world. So this is the dome of silence. So a lot of people you need to get like 5 trainers in here and just be crushing sessions all the time. And one, I'm kind of spoiled with the relationship I'm able to build with my clients, and 2, it's really a lot of people's only safe place to come in and divulge and talk about stuff. Like, not everybody has a confidant that they can tell everything to.
Absolutely.
You know, so having a dome of silence where there's no judging, and I'm not broadcasting. I don't know, I think a lot of people like that, so that kind of adds to the why you might want to come over here and check it out, you know? Yeah. So we do all kinds of different stuff, but
that's cool. So
that's
it's
a big
just
part of it.
Yeah. So it's just you here, just one-on-one, some group classes.
Yeah, a little bit of partner training, a little bit of group class that's kind of winded down a little bit. I think I like one-on-ones better because you can control dirty movement more accurately. Some other workout styles, technique can break down with exertion, but that's how you get hurt, you know. So it's like, what are we trying to do? Nothing pisses me off more than getting hurt lifting, because I'm trying to go shred on my snowboard or go skate a pool or something like that, you know. So that's frustrating. But, you know, there's like all different workouts for all different people that like to, you know, blast it all these different ways.
So you have all these different training tools. Do you have a favorite kind of lift that you like? Do you like barbells? Do you like kettlebells?
Yeah, implements. I like kettlebells. I like kettlebells a lot just because they're so dynamic and it's much more real life than, you know, versus a bodybuilding style of a you know, kind of static lift. You're just sitting there or standing there just going straight up for mass. So it makes a lot more sense out in the wild.
It all comes back to that core stability and bringing it back to snowboarding, right? It's just,
hands down, for sure. So that's the main thing that a lot of people need to understand. And even if your goal is totally mass and just getting huge, is that the more you can stabilize through your core, the greater force production you're going to have. So you're going to be able to pull more, push more. So when I was training at 24, I kind of specialized in all these weird core, different vectoring with cables and ball and stuff like that.
Master of the Bosu ball.
All those crazy things. Nice. And it's kind of circus tricky a little bit. And so I'm not big. I'm, you know, 5'7", 160 on a fat day. And so big buff guy figures if you're not big buff guy, you don't know anything. That's all there is
so
to
much
it.
Judgment about the external, like, oh yeah, I'm not, this guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah. So a lot of those guys, they would just kind of, you know, think I was a kook or whatever, but I still kind of maintained with my drive towards core stability strength, and it's served me well. And all the other people that train with me, that's kind of one of the big things they talk about is just their stability and how much better they feel, and it's really it's all about the middle. For sure.
Just carrying over that strength to everyday activities even.
Yeah. So that's what, you know, if you're not an athlete or something, you're still training for everyday life. You're going to be unloading the bag of dog food out of the car, having to move that spare tire, you know, so it's deadlifts and all kinds of different stuff all the time, you know. So that's the lamest way to get hurt is bending over to adjust the sheet on your bed and your back goes out, you know. Stuff like that.
That's cool. So does Anvil Fitness offer anything else besides physical coaching? Anything in the way of nutrition, supplements, anything to complement that physical edge?
Yeah, so there's, so we live in a world that's full of contaminants. Our food supply is contaminated, our water supply is contaminated, our air supply is contaminated. Not to be doomsday guy, but, it's just pretty much what's going on. So you can get everything that you need from food, but to get those values, you're going to have to eat ginormous portions, pounds of greens and, different things like that. And I'm definitely a proponent of eating all the colors of the rainbow to get all those different phytonutrients and stuff. But typically, if there's going to be a fat loss goal tied to that, we need to try and restrict calories a little bit. So that's how supplementation could work. So we use Advocare supplementation. And when I was working at 24, I sold lots of subs. They're very sales heavy brand, and so I tried a lot of stuff that didn't work, and this is the only brand where everything that I've tried, it does what it says it's going to do on top of it, and so I like it a lot. It works really good. I get really good results. My clients get really good results. They have something for everybody, so it's definitely worth a look. And then so that'd be your food component, and then water. So I have a deal. It's called a Kangen machine, so it makes it ionized alkaline water. So the big thing is tap water is just loaded with chlorine, and so that's super bad for your system. And then there's also a thing in there called flocculants. So what that does is make the water molecules collect in larger clusters, so they don't have to run as tight a filtration like at the water plant and stuff. But then when you look at that water molecule now is too large for cell wall permeability. So what this machine does, the one I have, has 8 plates with surgical grade metal on it. So it's a licensed medical device out of Japan. Exactly. So it shatters the water molecule, breaks it up, remolecularizes it into smaller molecular clusters. Now you can get cell wall permeability. So the biggest thing you get is export. So you can pull out all the garbage. Then since it has electricity in it, you have all these free-floating electrons. So it's the most bioavailable source of these free-floating electrons. So you have antioxidants, and then which are in foods, so those are supposed to help take care of those free radicals. The free radical is a toxin. So it is a scavenger of that extra floating electron. But if I have those in my body, everybody does, so you get those from stress, from exertion, from pollutants, all those kinds of different things, byproducts of work, then it takes the electron from the food item that I'm eating to try to be healthy, and then it neutralized that one. We just converted that one because it took its electron, so now it's a free radical. So now, but with this water, it has bazillions of free-floating electrons, so it just neutralizes all those guys, and then I get cell wall permeability, so I can pull out of my body. So it's kind of like you're looking at a chain link fence, and we got baseballs, and we're going to throw them through the fence. They don't go. Yeah. But if you get a handful of bearings and throw it through, they're all going to go shooting through. So the chain link would be the analogy for your cell wall permeability. And so if I can import and export, I'm going to be able to detoxify, and I'm going to have better tissue. I'm going to get a better hydration. I'm going to get better sleep.
Just running smoother.
Yeah, and most of your body is water in every capacity. Exactly. So to think that water doesn't matter, I disagree. I can say that.
I hear that.
So the same thing with like organic versus inorganic. When you eat all organic, it matters. I get really mad when I hear doctors tell me that, or on wherever you hear them talking about blah blah blah, like, oh, organic doesn't matter, or only organic on a certain couple things. It's toxins. It's soaking in.
So what does that?
And you're eating them.
What does that term organic really mean?
So just making sure that they're not using, what is it, all the different kind of Monsanto products, right? So to eradicate pesticides and neurotoxins and different things, just to keep bugs away, and also just to engineer food. So they're not what they used to be. Our systems don't recognize them anymore compared to like ancient grains and real sugar. So you have all these fake things and the body doesn't quite know what to do with it. So it's going to consider it like a toxin. So it's going to try and encapsulate, it's going to try and store it. If I can't export it, it's going to store it in my fat. So I'm going to make more fat to encapsulate this toxin and just try to keep it under control. But then you get the inflammatory response within the fat cells, within everything. And so inflammation is the basis of all sickness and disease and irritation. Absolutely. And so it's kind of like the barking dog situation in your yard. One starts barking, they all start barking. So you get these small positive feedback loops of inflammation that just through all the different kinds of tissue, and then you're just a hot mess. You know, so trying to disarm that is really the challenge. Yeah. And makes you feel a lot better when you even somewhat get a grasp of it. You know, so we'll do that with the Kangen water. You know, try not to eat processed foods. And then I just got a new bag CBD rep for a brand called Receptra Naturals out of Colorado. And so that CBD is a big thing. It's a buzzword right now. That's kind of funny. So, right, so it's non-psychoactive, non-addictive, non-abusive. So there's a lot of education that needs to be done to get people to understand the difference between...
People know a lot about THC, but not what CBD...
Or they know what THC is, and they've seen Cheech and Chong and stuff like that. But there's a difference between the cannabis plant and the hemp plant. You know, so now the Farm Bill just passed, so hemp is legal to grow in all the different states, and it's an amazing material for all kinds of textiles, biofuel, and it, you know, and then we can get CBD from it. So cannabidiol, your body is wired to use it. So every vertebrate has this endocannabinol system, which is a system of chemicals and receptors that are built to fluctuate and control balance or homeostasis within your body. So CBD accelerates that capability and helps you just get way more in balance, way more in tune. And so one of the biggest takeaways from CBD is its anti-inflammatory properties because it inhibits the inflammation response. But we'll still keep doing things that promote inflammation. So using tools to try and knock that stuff down is going to make everything function. And that's the biggest thing is, you know, so I don't do meal planning. I'll talk to you about it. I pretty much lean towards whole foods. There's certain tools like in the Advocare toolbox to do specific things, so I'll use those, but generally speaking I try to keep it pretty simple. And just, you know, just taking a close look at what you're putting in your body and what you're trying to get out of it, you know. So, you know, bad fuel is going to make your car run bad, so it's going to be the similar thing to your body.
Hear it. So what's in the future for Anvil Fitness? What's next? Is there anything on the horizon? Any goals? Any stretches?
Pretty much just filling my schedule is a good goal. Yeah. You know, I have a good life. I don't have world domination plans. I've owned other businesses in the past, and it was a restaurant, cafe, restaurant, and bakery in Montana, kind of a vegetarian type place.
What was your specialty?
I built the bakery in there, so we baked everything from scratch that we made. Our scones were particularly good. Everybody in town said we made everybody get 10 pounds fatter because our scones were so good. But so people, relative to growth, in a different way, business growth. So people are like, oh, you need to open one here. You need to open one here. You need to open one here. I'm like, no, I can only be at one place at one time. So my quality of my product is going to diminish as I get larger. You know, and so reproducibility is something that you have to do to, you know, keep growing and different stuff like that. And it just, I think it homogenizes and takes away and sterilizes, you know, and not to say that, and that's just me, right? There's lots of guys that are really good at that. I'm really good at making things complex. Almost like overly complex sometimes, and then I'll describe ad nauseum why we're doing something. But if you can keep it simple and really put a good packageable, reproducible product together, you could, you know, make many more satellite stations. I don't have the aspirations, and
it's got something good here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always kind of been the lone wolf. I don't like, and then I've worked with for other people in the past, right? Because I haven't always done this, and everybody they train, I get to hear a lot of stories about different industries and different brands and different stuff like that. And I always sometimes I'm like, oh, it's hard because I have to farm all my business, and sometimes it gets lean and it's kind of sketchy. But then I hear all these stories, and at least I'm not working for the man, punching the clock for the man. This is way better. Even so, my bad decision is going to yield my bad reward, or my good decision is going to yield my good reward.
Take that accountability, take that responsibility.
Yeah. So I'm not really afraid of that. Just trying to maintain balance, work-life balance. So I'm working probably way too much, like 12, 16-hour days between each hour on the hour being filled with personal training. So we're working doubles, like 5 a.m. to about 12, and then 4 it's about 8 or 9, and then in the middle, getting on my CBD rep business and trying to get that going, and just kind of working multiple revenue streams so I don't have all my eggs sitting in one basket. Really. So to get better at my craft is my goal, to understand human biomechanics better, and to understand really to communicate ideas and things to my clients better. And so there's there's so many resources out there, and there's so many new sexy exercises and different
There's always
workouts.
a hot new thing.
There's always a hot new thing. And so I look at it, and I look at them sometimes because I wonder if I'm getting stale, and I just keep coming back to this. So on my wall here I have 2 posters. I have one of a skeletal system and one of a muscular system, and that's what it boils down to. So when you understand human movement, I don't need someone to suggest. I mean, there's people with really good ideas, but by understanding those different things, I can take that knowledge and create a drill for a person right then based on what their needs are, instead of trying to have them do sexy drill number 5 that I saw on the whatever, which may not have any pertinence.
They should probably do 100 squats every day for 30 days. That'll save them.
That'll save them. Yeah, totally. Squats are the savior. Yeah.
Awesome. So where can people find Anvil Fitness? Where can people find you?
You can find me on, I have a Facebook page, Anvil Fitness Facebook. My website is anvil-fitness.com. You can call me, 206-334-0469. Come in for a free movement screen, and we can talk about your goals, talk about what you want to do, what you got going on, see if we can unravel those different things. And one thing too is I'm definitely not afraid to refer out. So if someone comes with too complex of an issue, I'm not going to pretend that I'm a physical therapist or I'm a doctor, so I know the guys that do that sort of stuff. And so it's all about what's best for the client. And so I have a really good working relationship with several different doctors that do all kinds of different things, and so we can really work together with the client in mind. That's not always something that happens, and so it's really cool to see that. And so when you definitely improve and change somebody's program, I mean, you're really changing your life. It sounds so cliche, but
it happens.
But yeah, it happens, and when it does, it's miraculous, really, because it's hard to change. And so that's the biggest thing: is it's only you can do you, only you can change you, and if you can't change, then you're not going to end up in a good place. You have to constantly evolve, get bigger, get better, get bigger, get stronger, get looser, whatever it is that you need to do.
Whatever you need to achieve your goal.
Yeah, to be just the best version of you. And so that's the primary focus. Coming out of here is try to, make sure that you always feel better after than before. And I hear that all the time, which is really cool. And people keep coming back for a long time. So I got to be doing something okay.
Might be doing something right.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Awesome.
Those are goals. And yeah, just keep learning. That's the biggest thing. There's always new stuff being figured out and just new ways to look at the system and tissue. So as a society or the human race, we know so little. We know so much, but we know so little.
It's true. The human body we are all human, and yet we know so very little about what we're made of, what we do, what goes on inside of us.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is where everybody's more different than they are alike. We have most of the same stuff, body part wise. Some have a little extra, some have a little less. But the way that all that soup mixes together on the inside is completely different for each person. And so really being able to pull stuff apart and be willing to try stuff and within reason, obviously.
Within reason. Please don't do any backyard science here. This is
No, I'm not doing like blood draws and was that platelet-rich proteins in the bathroom? No, I'm not doing that. I know the gal that can do that stuff.
Yeah, we can refer to someone who does that, though.
Yeah. That's some cool stuff going on for sure.
All right.
So what's new for the Logcast?
What's new for the Logcast? This is new for the Lumbercast. I don't know. I seek out guests as they come.
Yeah.
And this has been fantastic insight. I'm so glad for you to share your passion and what your story, and it just makes me excited to hear what you do here.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, Kimo, thank you.
Yes, thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
the talk.
Yes, thanks for coming in.
It's been a fantastic time, and
I appreciate it.
I
Anytime.
hope we see you together in the future.
Definitely.
Kimo Cole, y'all. I don't know if I'll ever be cool enough to snowboard, but maybe with his help, I could be trained. Thanks for taking the time to listen to our talk. If you have any comments or questions, please send them over to lumbertronic@gmail.com. And until next time, keep sharing your story.